Excellent. And we will get started. So sitting comfortably on your mat. You can be cross-legged, you can be laying down. I'm going to put my feet in a nice diamond shape. That just feels good for me these days. And we're just going to find some deep inhales and deep exhales to center ourselves into our yoga practice this morning. Hands come down by your sides if you're laying down. You're sitting upright. We're rooting the sit bones down and getting taller as we lift through the top of our head. Shoulders drop down and away from your ears. Maybe we start to close our eyes, just taking away all of the distractions, sensory. Deep inhales and deep exhales. I'll invite you to practice an Ujjayi breath this morning. For these 30 minutes, think about inhaling and exhaling through the nose. And draw the shoulder blades down and away from your ears. And just settle into your body. Notice how it's feeling right now in this moment. And bring an awareness to that throughout the course of this practice. With that, we'll begin to open up the body with some gentle neck rolls, making small circles with your nose, and then eventually making those circles bigger and bigger. Opening up the neck here, and then taking it on the other side. Some smaller circles over to the left now. Eventually making those circles bigger and bigger. And you can take this nice and slow or fast, or however your body needs to react today. We'll slowly start to bring some stillness in the neck. Drawing the shoulder blades down and away from the ears. We get a little bit taller. Take another inhale and exhale through the nose. And we'll begin our practice. We're going to come onto all fours for some cat cows. And if you have blocks or books nearby, just stack them at an equal height. We'll place our hands on the blocks, pressing into the earth, and keeping them about the hands about shoulder width distance apart. And now adjust the books, find a height that feels comfortable. But maybe if the book's slippery, put one in between. All right, and the knees are about hip width distance apart. The tops of the feet are pressing down into the earth. We're reaching through the crown of our head here. The top of our head is shining forward. And we're finding length through the spine as you press the tops of the feet down and send some energy through the hips. Reaching in opposing directions here. Reaching forward with the head and back with the hips. Finding that length and finding some activation in the low belly with every inhale and every exhale. And then begin some movements if you haven't yet, tilting the pelvis, finding your cow or your cat. Taking some intuitive movements here. Really just getting to know the body and get to know the breath. These can be slow, mindful movements. There's no rush here. Maybe you take some hip circles. And then you take them on the other side. Still pressing down and pushing into the earth with the hands, letting the head hang heavy. Untuck the toes here. We'll move away our blocks, and we're going to come into a downward facing dog. So sending the hips nice and high, pressing down through the hands that are shoulder width apart. And we're pressing down with the toes. Maybe the whole foot is on the earth. Maybe the heels are lifted. Together we'll all actually lift our heels all the way up as high as they can go, coming onto the tippy toes, having some nice strong legs and strong arms. And then lowering the heels, but keeping the hip height. So trying to keep those hips up high as they can as you lower the heels. That opposing action, we're lifting as we lower those heels, right? Pressing down through the palms, all 10 fingers, especially the index finger and the thumb. Let the shoulders drop away from the ears and let the head hang heavy here. Maybe you're walking out your dog, bending into one knee, straightening through the other. Finding what feels good for you in this moment. And we're breathing, right? Don't forget to breathe. Or rather, remember to breathe. Get rid of that. Good. We'll slowly lower the knees to the earth. We'll find our blocks once more. Or if you have a pillow, basically anything just to get between you and the earth. So we're going to lower our hips down and back. As we widen the legs, we're going to take our child's pose, an active child's pose. So we're pressing down through the hands on the blocks or the pillows, and we're sinking the hips down towards the heels. And we're going to let the head rest on the earth here. Or maybe you find a pillow, or maybe keep the head lifted. Draw the shoulders down and away from your ears. And you're pressing so much down through the palms that the arms are kind of shaking. My arms are shaking right now because I'm pressing so much. You're like, isn't this supposed to be restorative? I promise it is. So head's going to reach forward if it's lifted. Without a kink in the neck, we're finding that length all the way from the top of our head, all the way to our hips. Pressing down to the tops of our feet, the shins are pressing into the earth. Knees can come out wider if that feels comfortable. Find a little bit more space here. And then we'll slowly lift the arms off those blocks or the blanket, and we'll bring them down by our sides. Come on. I believe this is Embryo Pose. Palms are flipped up. Shoulders are dropping forward here. Head is resting on the earth. Taking nice inhales and nice exhales through the nose. Allowing your body to rest after reviving those muscles, right? On the inhale, we'll begin to think about placing the palms forward, pressing into the earth in front of us, and lifting our way back up onto our heels. We will come into a mini downward facing dog just for a moment. You can keep the blocks handy. We're going to head over there in a minute. So hips up nice and high, come into a brief downward facing dog. And then we're just going to draw that right knee in towards our noses. So pressing down with the hands, pushing down with that back left foot, arching and rounding that spine as you draw the knee forward. And you hug it into your chest as much as you can, using those muscles, being active, and then eventually we're going to lower that foot, step it onto the earth, and we're aiming to be in between our hands. So we're going to maybe walk it forward a little bit, and then we're going to drop that back knee down onto the earth, untuck the toes of that back left foot. We're going to get our blocks, and we're going to use these blocks for some height. Maybe you get more blocks for height. Maybe you come onto the fingertips because you want more height. You find what feels good, right? So pressing down through the top of that back left foot, and you're pressing down into the heel of that front right foot. So the heel is pressing into the earth. The whole foot is pressing, but the heel, the weight should be in the heel, and the knee right over the ankle. Nice strong legs here. And we find some length in the spine by reaching with the top of our head forward and reaching back with that left foot. And you take some inhales and you take some exhales. You let the shoulders draw down and away from the ears. Still pushing into the earth with our legs. And you guys will slowly think about coming out of this posture and coming into half split. So coming onto the heel of that right foot and straightening out, that right leg as you bend back into the left leg. You move your blocks to an appropriate place, hopefully outside of each foot. We'll find some length in the spine by reaching forward with the crown of the head and sinking down and back with those hips. And then we'll find some leg. We will reach forward and fold over that right leg. Maybe the nose comes to touch the knee. Maybe the nose doesn't. You find what feels good. Maybe you put a little micro bend in the front knee because we don't want to hyperextend, right? So a little micro bend, we feel and we find that stretch. And we find that strength, right? So there's strength going on as we stretch. Good, you guys bend that knee back forward. And then we will take left elbow to the outside of that right leg. And maybe we place that elbow straight, putting it on our block or maybe outside of that right foot. And we're just going to gently open that right arm towards the back of the room and just find a gentle twist here. This is pretty deep, but go about it gently just to find an opening, find some length. Again, reaching with that right hand, reaching with that back foot, keeping strong legs and strong hips here, finding the length all the way to the crown of the head. On an exhale, we'll bring everything back through center, nice and slowly. We'll take one more half split as you point the toes up and back and straighten out that front right leg. Maybe bringing the knee to the nose or the nose to the knee. Then we'll come right back through center, bending into the front knee. We'll move the blocks out of the way. And then we're going to walk that right foot out towards the right side of the mat. I'm going to bring that right hand in between the right foot, shoulder width distance apart with the arms here. And we're going to either take these blocks and place them under our forearms, or we're going to stay right where we are, keeping hands up because this is enough of a stretch for this lovely hip. Or we're going to take it all the way down to the forearms, to the earth. Again, maybe to the blocks. I'm just going to allow some hip opening to happen right here. Maybe you come onto the outer edge of the right foot. That can feel nice. Maybe you take it a little bit deeper. Maybe you place that right hand on the inside of the right thigh and you push on the leg a little bit. Still anchoring down through that back foot. Finding some nice opening here in the hip. And we'll slowly come right back. Keeping some strong legs as you press down into the earth. Keeping one hand on either side of the foot now, and we'll head into our downward facing dog. We'll get there by pressing down through the hands, lifting that back knee up, and then just meeting the left foot to the right foot. Walking out the dog a little, seeing the difference in the hips right now can be, or feeling the difference rather. You might be noticing, let's use noticing as the word. Notice how your hips feel right now. Notice how the hamstrings feel. Is one tighter than the other right now? Does one feel more open than the other? And we'll take it on the other side. So left knee will tuck into the chest. Thinking about drawing your knee towards your nose. Bringing the knee towards the nose. Arm rounding through the spine here. As you press into the hands, you step the foot down. You find its way in between both hands. We'll drop down through that back knee, untuck the right toes, and we'll find our blocks. And we'll place them under our hands, finding some length here, maybe pressing down a little bit more through the fingertips, drawing the shoulders away from the ears, a nice bend in that front knee, which is right over that front heel. And again, the weight should be in the heel here. And we're reaching with the crown of our head as we extend nice and long through the spine, through that back foot. We're just pressing down into the earth. Couple more inhales and exhales here. Finding some length in that low belly. And then we'll take it back to half split. So bending into the right knee now and extending that front leg to almost straight. Hands are on either side of the foot as you start to maybe bend the elbows and fold over that left leg. Maybe you put that micro bend back in that left knee. We're on the heel of that foot as the toes flex back to that left leg. And you find some length. Maybe the forehead finds the leg. And we'll come right back forward here. Bending into that front knee. Lengthening out through that back right leg. And then we'll bring that right elbow to the outside of the left knee. Taking a nice little twist here. Maybe you bring that right hand down to some blocks. Maybe you need another block on this side. Maybe you need another two. Every side is different. As you find a little bit deeper of a twist here, you take that that left hand out behind you. The right hand presses into the blocks on the outside of that right leg, or maybe it stays up, doesn't come down to the earth. Maybe you bring the hands together at your heart center. Maybe find a little bit deeper of a twist with every inhale and every exhale. Still pressing down through that back foot. The back leg is strong here. And then we'll slowly start to unravel that twist. Put the box back where that came from. And then we'll come back into that half split once more. And you're welcome to untuck the back toes of the, that right leg. You can feel a little bit more stabilizing, a little bit more grounding. And again, reaching forward, drawing the shoulders away from our ears with the crown of our head. Maybe that nose reaches the knee. And then we'll bend it back forward. Coming into that low lunge. Moving the blocks out though, actually, and then we'll step it back into downward facing dog. So plant the hands, untuck the toes, straighten that back foot, that back leg off the earth. And then we'll step the left foot to meet the right. Downward facing dog. Maybe start walking out the dog again. Maybe you notice how open the hips are now. How much more mobility you might be having in the back of our leg. We'll slowly begin to lower the knees to the earth. Coming into moving the box out of the way, and then coming into our Sphinx posture. So lowering all the way to the earth. And the forearms will come out in front of us. Palms are facing down. Tops of the feet are pressing into the earth. We're just going to take a nice back bend here before we close out our practice. Extending nice and long and strong through those back legs. Shining that chest forward and upward as you press down through the forearms and the hands. You find some length in that spine. And as you reach up and forward with the front of your body and down and back with the other half of the body. We'll slowly start to think about lowering all the way to the earth. Maybe bringing the cheek to one side, the arms down by our sides. Just taking a breath or two here. In through the nose, out through the nose. We're going to think about coming back up into our downward facing dog. We're just going to step our left foot forward once more because I forgot to do the lizard on the other side. So right foot comes forward, hands will come in between the feet, the foot rather. And then we're going to walk out that left foot towards the left edge of the mat. We're going to get our blocks. And we're going to come into a lizard pose. So like we did on the right side, just a little delayed because the old dog forgot. So we're going to come onto the elbows or the forearms rather. Or we're going to come maybe all the way down. Head reaches the earth. Or maybe you just stay right where you are because that was enough hip opening, right? Maybe you keep the arms pressing into the earth, or the hands rather. Maybe we come onto the outer edge of the left foot. You take the left hand to the inside of the left leg as you press into that left leg and open up that hip a little bit deeper. Still extending long and strong through that back right leg. We'll slowly come back to your center. Moving those blocks. Straightening that left leg once more. Sending it home. And then we'll just bring the left foot back down. We'll find our way onto our backs. We're just going to extend everything out nice and long here. And we're going to reach the arms up over our head. Reaching down with the feet. We're going to take the right leg, cross it over the left leg. We're going to create a crescent moon shape as we take ourselves over to the left. And you can grab the right hand. See if you can, take your right hand and grab the left wrist as you, again, make that crescent moon shape with your body, reaching over to the left with the hands and the feet. Take a nice inhale and a nice exhale. Bring it right back through center. Get nice and long. Unravel the legs. And then we'll take it on the other side. Cross the left foot over the right foot. Left hand will grab the right wrist as you make your crescent moon shape. Going all the way over to the right with the arms and the legs. Inhaling and exhaling, finding a nice stretch here. And then coming right back through center once more. Getting nice and long, reaching and extending long, taking a nice long body stretch here. And on an exhale, we'll lower the arms down by our sides. Coming into the final resting posture, our corpse pose. Letting the body be still and the breath be steady. Together we'll take a deep breath in through the nose. Open your mouth, exhale out through the mouth. We'll close the eyes if that feels comfortable. And taking about 10 to 15 breaths in this Shavasana. Allowing the focus to arise on the breath. Acknowledging the thoughts that might arise. And letting them go. Shavasana. We'll slowly begin to think about coming back into our bodies by wiggling the toes and wiggling the fingers, sending some movements in the legs, and coming on to either the left or the right side of your bodies for fetal position. Slowly begin to come into a comfortable seated posture, keeping the eyes closed if you can. Bringing the palms to your heart center. Giving yourself some love and gratitude for showing up today, for taking the time to take care of your bodies and your minds. We'll bring the thumb knuckles to the third eye center. And we'll bow to each other as we say namaste. Thank you guys so much. Namaste. I hope you enjoyed this class. Again, I'm Desiree. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to ask. It's a pleasure being able to guide you through this practice today. Thank you. Kimberly, Sherry, thank you guys for coming. Hope you enjoyed class. And as always, if you enjoyed the class, if you want to send a love offering, we're always grateful for those. It allows us to keep all these platforms going, the Zoom and all the fun stuff. So we appreciate your support and hope you have a great rest of your Sunday. Thank you. Maybe we'll see you tomorrow morning for our 8 a.m. Monday morning movement.